Everybody, and welcome to the very first live edition of Roll and Move Reviews. I'm sorry we were a little late. I had some technical difficulties that Georgie's talking me through, and I'm seeing some lag on my image. I'm not sure if you're seeing that as well, but I apologize. Hopefully it'll catch up. But I just want to thank Georgie for joining me here. This is a segment I wanted to do live with some friends of mine and locally, and that fell through. I contacted Georgie and I said, hey, Georgie, can you help me out? He jumped right on, very cool about it. And he's walked me through all the technical aspects of this. So he introduced me to this. So anything I do live from here on out, you can either give Georgie credit or blame him, depending on what you think about it. But Georgie, how you doing today? Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm rather tired, I guess, because of my long shift at work, where I basically got about a 15-minute break in an 8-hour shift. And other than that, I just seem to be non-stop. But yeah, ready to go and ready to take part in your first live chat there, Kirk.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. Well, what I've been doing this week on Roll and Move, we've been having Star Wars week for obvious reasons, with Force Awakens coming out this week. And I know I saw you put on Twitter that you bought your tickets, so you already got them. You're ready to go. You're going tomorrow, right?
Yeah, man. So 8 p.m. my time tomorrow night. So
okay.
What's that, like 3 p.m. your time tomorrow?
Yeah. And are you guys getting? I know we have Thursday shows here in the U.S. Did it open earlier there? I heard at least somewhere in Europe it was opening like Monday or something like that. You guys were getting a little earlier.
No, France had it yesterday.
Okay.
So I believe it was like the red carpet was yesterday, and at midnight by like my time, so midnight my time yesterday, it was released sort of to the public in France, and it's midnight tonight. It's actually released for us, but I am unfortunately working tomorrow. So
okay.
I was essentially like, the plan is, so I'm going to go to work, come home, watch Return of the Jedi, and then leave. Yeah. So
I've been watching all the old movies with my kids. They hadn't seen them all, so we still got to finish some of those up before we go in. But I'm going. I'll see it multiple times. I've seen it by myself first, and I'll take the kids, and I'll probably end up seeing it at least 2 or 3 times before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do the same. And if it's as good as I'm hoping it's going to be. So I promised myself I wouldn't get hyped up for it, like, because after what happened with the Phantom Menace, which was just obviously my personal opinion, but I promise that I'm not going to get hyped up for it. I am now super hyped up for it. I have not stopped wearing Star Wars t-shirts the entire week, and I'm probably not going to sleep much tonight. So
I was looking around. I bought my kids must have taken them. I have my Star Wars. I have my 3D glasses already, but my Stormtrooper 3D glasses. I wanted to wear them, but I can't find them anywhere. So. Well, I wanted to ask you, I don't know, did you grow up a Star Wars fan? Is it something you were always into?
Yeah, so when actually, it was kind of strange. So I remember being like 6 or 7 years old. I was never like I never really grew up with it because of my age. I'm the young, handsome age of 28 currently. So like although I might not look it with obviously the beard and the long hair. However, when I was about 6, I remember being at my dad's friend's house and borrowing a bunch of videotapes. And actually, the first one, I think it was about 6 or 7. I think the first one that I borrowed was Empire Strikes Back. So I saw them in like a totally random order. There was nothing. But like, for me, just being a kid, I just remember seeing it and seeing like the ships and the lasers, and it's just crazy exciting. I remember shouting my dad up, because like I had this weird obsession when I was a kid with doing like, this is what I want to do when I grow up, and that changed like daily, but I had this obsession with telling my dad it like constantly. So I think about twice during that movie I was like, I want to be that when I grow up, and then I was like, I want to be an X-Wing pilot when I grow up. So yeah, it kind of started from there. I watched Empire Strikes Back. I saw Return of the Jedi after that. Then I saw, Star Wars or A New Hope. And then went to the cinema to see them when they were digitally remastered. Yeah. So actually here in the UK, the first one that went to the cinema digitally remastered was Return of the Jedi.
Oh, really?
So it was really strange. So when that came out digitally remastered, they then sort of re-showed them up. They showed them all. So I went back to see them, and then obviously when Phantom Menace, that was like not long before Phantom Menace and that was coming out. So I did go to see all those films. So I did go to see all those films a couple of times too, just to make final judgment.
Probably a good call on your part. So what are your thoughts? You said you're getting excited. What are your thoughts going, and what are your hopes for this movie?
My thoughts are super positive. I trust Abrams to the max. He brought it home with Star Trek for me. A lot of people said like this is not. Oh, it doesn't have the same character development as his last it's not his last, sorry, like, but the last Star Trek films.
Mm-hmm.
But every other Star Trek film before that had like 4 to 7 seasons of character development before the films come out. So, for people to say, but then I was talking to my wife who said Abrams' last Star Trek films were what she would hope that this Star Wars films are going to be like. And I got to kind of agree, to be honest. Like, I'm hoping for that same amount of action. I'm not holding out for any rumors or storylines that has been online like crazy.
Darth Jar Jar.
Or also the bones of Jar Jar hidden in the desert. That would be nice.
I'd like to see that. No, I agree with you. In fact, I heard someone say, it's funny, they said Star Trek was kind of his audition for Star Wars. That was like his audition tape to get that job. And no, I agree with you. I trust him a lot. I read an article the other day that said he's terrified of this movie coming out. And that made me feel really good.
Should be.
Because I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think George Lucas was terrified when Phantom Menace came out. He probably slept really well that night. And, because he did what he wanted to do. And I think JJ, he respects, he's a fan, and he respects it. And he knows the weight on his shoulders. And I don't know, did you watch the Comic-Con behind the scenes reel that they put out?
I've seen like the live shows, not live, but like when they were obviously doing the interviews and then all the shows at Comic-Con, and then I've seen all the Star Wars Day stuff. But no, I don't think I saw that.
If you get a chance, go check it out. It's on YouTube. Just Google Star Wars Comic-Con trailer. It's behind the scenes, and it's almost comical because the whole thing, it's like they're showing you guys in costumes and puppets and stuff blowing up for real. And the whole thing is basically, these aren't the prequels. They actually open a camera at one point and show you the real film going through the reel. So, I mean, they were doing everything they can to separate themselves from the prequels. So, I mean, so watch out before you go to the movie because that'll get you excited.
Like I need to be any more excited, honestly. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm really hoping that it's good. I believe it is going to come through for me. For me, obviously, it's not everyone's going to have the same opinion.
Sure.
But I am very positive, and I just can't really wipe the smile off my face. I can't believe this is happening again in my lifetime, and so.
I'm excited now. I can just take it, and I can take my kids to see a good Star Wars movie in the theater. But I'm excited about that, so that'll be fun. Now, bringing it back to gaming, Georgie, what kind of Star Wars, what are some of your favorite Star Wars games? And as a gamer, like, how have you incorporated your being a fan of Star Wars into not just board games, but any kind of gaming you do?
Well, I guess some of my favorite Star Wars board games to start off with. Imperial Assault is obviously quite high up there. I like the X-Wings miniatures game. Not a board game, but I do like the Age of Rebellion or Age of Empire RPG, which I've played a couple of times also. Unfortunately, I got stuck in Tatooine one time, basically bidding with magazines to that was just a disaster. However, so I haven't. I don't. Nobody hit me for this. I haven't played Looping Chewie, so I played the Living Card game. What other Star Wars games have I played? I've definitely played a couple more. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. I think I've actually got a couple more. I'm looking through my shelf right now. But I've played a fair amount of the Star Wars games, the Star Wars IP games that are out. My favorite one's probably Imperial Assault.
Do you play any of the video games? You do Battlefront or anything like that?
Battlefront 1 and 2 and Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 when growing up as well. So I haven't got the new Battlefront yet. I've heard mixed reviews. Have you heard anything? Have you heard?
It looks fantastic. I don't know about you. I'm really terrible at those kind of games. And I was watching somebody play through it, and basically looked like somebody who's on the same skill level as me. and it was kind of like this thing where they go out, wherever he's being, go out, spawn, die, and I have a feeling if I played, it'd be the same thing. And it's like there's all this beautiful Star Wars stuff out there, but I never see it. I just get upon as soon as I spawn, I'm getting nailed, and I'm never really going to get to explore it. So I don't know if it's worth the investment to just go out and keep getting killed, because I'm terrible at those games. I like the first Battlefront, but I was not good at it at all, and I don't think I'd be much better at this one. So that's a game I'll probably sit down and watch somebody who's good at it play, and enjoy much more than I would playing it myself.
I would class myself as pretty good at Battlefront 2, I guess, because I played that kind of constantly. Battlefront 1, not so much. I played that a lot, but there was other games I was playing at the time. But when Battlefront 2 came out, I remember religiously playing that. But I remember being a young kid. I'm actually just looking up just now. I remember playing on the SNES a Star Wars game. I think it might have been. Oh, it was Super Star Wars.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was a good game.
It was. Actually, it was the Super Star Wars. I was looking at the Super Empire Strikes Back as well, but no, it was definitely the Super Star Wars one.
Is that the one you play as Luke and he do the flip jumps?
Yeah, and he basically starts off with the pistol, or the blaster. You're just running around, and then eventually you get the lightsaber, and it's just a super awesome kind of standard platform game that you got on the SNES at the time. But I was so into it, man.
Yeah, I like that. And you mentioned Knights of the Old Republic. That was one of my favorites too. I really enjoyed playing through both of those. Those are really good games.
Yeah, and I just love the choices you could make in Knights of the Old Republic. It was just something that I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Actually, I just got a message on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen that there. It says that it's from Fedor Sosnin. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's a designer who's designed Battle of Durack, and he's currently designing, or has designed, Dice Bazaar, and it's going to be on Kickstarter soon. But he has messaged me on Twitter saying that the chat is not enabled on YouTube, so he must be watching also. I don't think you can enable the chat now, actually, Kirk. But hi, Fedor. There, thanks for watching us. Where were we?
Let me see.
We're talking about Knights of the Old Republic, right? So,
yes.
I really enjoyed the choices and things you got to make in that game, and how it sort of affected the storyline as it went. It was just super, super awesome.
Yeah, that movie was everything I had hoped the prequels to be, with all that cool stuff going on. And if we could have got that in those movies, they might have been decent. But that's not what we got.
I think what was the Force Unleashed and the Force, was it the Force Unleashed? Yeah, so I played that one as well, and I actually remember being obsessed with the Force Unleashed 2 so much so that I ended up getting the black lightsaber at the end. So that was the very last secret lightsaber that I remember finding, and just totally 100% in the game. So stoked with it, man.
I played that one. That was fun. I probably played about maybe 20% through, and I get frustrated on video games quick, and I drop them easy. So I didn't make it the whole way through. But I played that one. I liked.
Yeah, this was I guess because that was when I was heavily going through my video game phase as well.
Yeah.
It's only sort of in the last 3 years or so that I lost. Let's say lose motivation for video games, but lost as much interest as video games and gained that in board games.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty much anything since then. I've not really been playing that heavily. It's probably coming up maybe 3 or 4 years now, but it's been a while since I've really played anything video game, heavily in video games.
I'm in the same boat. I've been board games almost exclusively for at least year and a half. I'll play we have a Wii, and my son will play some games, but I'll play with him. But other than that, my gaming is all board games at this point.
Yeah, man. So what about you, Kirk? What Star Wars board games do you play?
Imperial Assault. In fact, I'm going to be doing a review of the skirmish mode. I'm hoping to get that posted today. I was playing through some of that last night. I really enjoy that, and I had done the campaign, played through some of that. I just started playing skirmish, and I actually like skirmish better. Let me get your thoughts on that. Have you played both ways on Imperial Assault?
Yeah, but I've only played the skirmish once, I believe.
Okay.
Is it Skirmish one? Yeah, I believe I've only played it once, maybe twice at maximum. I did really like it, and I liked like the points mechanism from it, but I'm really heavily quite into the campaign mode of it, simply because I was big on Descent, and I literally came to the end of the second Descent campaign, Descent 2.0, the second Descent 2.0 campaign, when Imperial Assault was getting released. So when Imperial Assault got released, obviously it was straight in, and then the campaign mode was obviously our first interest there. So that's kind of how I hit it heavy there.
My group start and stopped a campaign a couple of times. I liked it. The thing I like about skirmish mode better is that obviously the storytelling is not there. You're much more limited what you can do in the game, but I like the fact that you get those command cards and it gives you so many more options. You really feel like you're playing. This is my problem with dungeon crawlers in general, is that it starts to get repetitive. It's like I do my main attack and I move. I do my main attack and I move. In that skirmish mode, you get some more options. And I like the campaign in Imperial Assault. My biggest problem with it, though, was I played the Jedi character, and I didn't have a lightsaber. And everybody's like, well, she's not a Jedi yet. And I'm like, she's got a lightsaber in a box. She's got a lightsaber on her character card. The mini has a lightsaber. I want my lightsaber.
Yeah, why don't you start with the lightsaber, right?
Yeah. So we went through, and we never got at the point we stopped, we had never gotten to the point where I could earn the lightsaber. So that was really frustrating. But the rest of it, I really enjoyed the game. It really felt like Star Wars. But that tactical skirmish we played last night, I had Vader and a couple Imperials with me, and the guy on the other side had Luke and Han, and I think some droids with them. And it just really felt like you were playing out a scene from Star Wars. And just like I said, there's command cards you can pull out and really start getting beaten down, and then have a big attack and just really surprise people with it. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yeah, man. And I really like the map as well. It clips together a little bit better than the Descent map, because the Descent map's kind of like a bit more jigsaw-y and doesn't sit like flat together like this. It's all angles and angles and spaces. Takes up a lot of space.
The amount you get, the map pieces you get are amazing. I mean, there's just so much you can do with that.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of really cool options. I love how they have like the creatures in it. You get those little those tiger things from episode 2 and the ATST. And then when you start expanding, you get all the different characters. It's a really good game.
Yeah, man, it's a super fun game. And like I said, when I was coming to the end of my Descent 2.0 second campaign, when that came out, so it was obviously immediately snatched up and loved as well we just play like 2-player with those campaigns, because sometimes we find if you play like the 3 and 4-player, it can just, for us anyway, it can sometimes drag because there's too many people making decisions. And essentially if player 1 goes, then player 2's decision can sometimes totally change, considering like where they've moved, and then it's another thought process, and sometimes people just get AP to the max, and it can be a bit stressful. So maybe like 2 players for those, 1 player doing Imperial, other player doing a couple of heroes. So yeah, super fun game.
Yeah. What have you heard about Rebellion coming out next year?
Only positive things, which is all I believe you're ever going to hear about a Star Wars game until it comes out. So all positive, I guess it's looking okay. So we'll see how it goes. It seems a bit random how they're going to wait till next year to bring another Star Wars. I don't know. It's like release a big dungeon crawl Star Wars game last year. Yeah. Release a big dungeon crawl Star Wars game next year. But the year of the movie coming out, you release Luke and Chewie, Guess Who Stormtrooper. Like, it just seems a bit random. Maybe that's just me. Obviously, we got Armada, but again, it just seems a little bit out of the loop. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
There's definitely a bigger focus on the mass market stuff coming up, leading up to the movie.
Yeah. We got Risk.
What's that?
We got the Risk, Star Wars Risk.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to try that, because that looks, everybody's telling me from what I've seen that plays like Queen's Gambit. And have you ever played that one?
I've not played Queen's Gambit, but I did see that you've recently posted.
Yeah.
So where did you get your copy from, and how can I steal it from you?
It's funny. I let you borrow it. And
okay.
it's a friend I used to work with, and he would bring it to work, and we'd play it there. And I sent him an email, and I was like, I want to get a couple more playthroughs on it. I'd really like to do a review on it. Would you mind if I borrowed it? And I understand if you don't want to part ways with it. If you don't want to let it out of your site, we can work something out. I'll come to your house, whatever. So he comes, shows up at my house, drops it off. He's like, I didn't even know. He's like, after you said all that, I looked it up and saw what this game's going for. So before that, I didn't even know it was worth. So he was really cool about it. He let me borrow it, and I got to play it. So I'm really nervous with it in my house. So I want to get back to him soon because I'm afraid something's going to happen to it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to lose a mini and then get cost like $10 for one
Sorry,
drive.
I'm going to college. I got to replace. But no, that's a fun game, and it looks like the Risk plays a lot like it's much more scaled down, but it has that same different battles going on and doing different things, a lot of the same mechanics. So it looks like it's a game I'm going to try and get that and play that with my kids. I think that'll be a good game to play with them. Where Queen's Gambit, they probably wouldn't be able to wrap their heads around.
Yeah, I got to be honest, it's not something that I'm super interested in. I mean, everyone's raving about it, but I don't know. I kind of looked at. I was actually in one of my local bookstores, and it was there. The black edition looks cool. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in the local bookstore, I see like the normal edition, and you see the little cardboard punch-out Millennium Falcon that just kind of sitting on the board, looking depressed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking at it. I was like, I'll pass it. I wouldn't even think about buying that. Looking at that box cover.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. I quite enjoy normal Risk, but I don't know. The minis and the stands of Queen's Gambit. It's kind of frustrating that people say, "Don't worry, if you can't get Queen's Gambit, just get this game." And you think, no, come on. Queen's Gambit stands 3 dimensional.
It's much less of a game, but it's about 90% cheaper. So
yeah. So
I'll spend 30 on Risk instead of 400 on Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
I was going to say about Rebellion 2, that looks good to me. I love how they have all those pieces. They have so much, but it looks like it might almost be too much. Like it might be overload. Like they have a mini Death Star and a mini, everything. It's like, how are you going to fit all that into one coherent game? So I'm very curious to see how they're going to do that, because there's just a lot going. I mean, it looks like it's standard Fantasy Flight, just a big box of stuff. But I don't know how, because all the minis are on different scales and stuff. So I don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of the same. Like they all, like you said, all the scale is wrong. There's like a big Death Star next to it. But yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. I guess we'll see how it goes. I guess the Dice Tower guys will probably get it out first. Maybe hopefully we'll see a review from those guys before it goes to mass market, and then we can all make our own decision on that. Really.
Yeah.
I actually have a question. I'm getting questions through my Twitter.
Good.
This one's from Baker.
Hey, Baker,
so I think he's watching us there. He actually says, first of all, he says, don't talk bad about Star Wars Risk again, Georgie. I got railed in the last video for it. Sorry. But he says, Kirk, in my campaign, we got the mission where she can earn the lightsaber, but you have to fight Vader at the end. Vader. He killed us. Sorry, it's not actually a question. It's just Baker stating simply that Vader actually won, but she gets the lightsaber and you have to fight Vader.
And that's my other problem with it too, is that those missions come up. Thanks, Baker. Those missions come up. You can earn your lightsaber, but you might not. And now I just have a Jedi running around the rest of the game without a lightsaber. So one of the reasons I think why we stopped that campaign was because the other players got sick of me whining about that. Because I like the rest of the game, but I'm like, I got this Jedi, and she's got some cool fight powers, and right now she has a bow staff. So this could be Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles for all I know. So
whoa, the bow staff is Donatello.
Yeah, Donatello. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Well, I like it this time.
But yeah, it just she didn't feel upfront Jedi enough to me, or even Force user enough to me. So, but yeah, Baker, I feel you. I wasn't happy with the way that played out either. So Georgie, there's something we do on my show every once in a while. We do a segment called Wish List. And we go through and we talk about games. We pick a topic and we come up with ideas for games that we want to do or we'd like to see made. And then we hope, fingers crossed, somebody picks it up and runs with it and we become rich. So I know I'm coming at you late. I came at you late notice and I appreciate you being on. So I'm going to give you some ideas I came up with. And you let me know what you think. And if you're keeping an eye on Twitter, if you're watching, send us your ideas and let us know what you think of the ideas I give. And if these are games you'd want to play. That cool, Georgie?
Sounds awesome to me. I'm going to get the Twitter page loaded up now so that we can see. There we go.
All right, cool. On the first game I thought of, all right, besides maybe Darth Maul, what's the best thing about Phantom Menace? Best thing about Episode 1?
The lightsabers.
Well, I include that in with Darth Maul.
Right. Okay. I'm just trying to think of something that's actually quite good.
I was thinking the pod racing scenes.
Oh, okay.
Actually, kind of fun. They're a little long, but it's neat. So I wanted to see a game about a pod racing. And I thought it would be neat to have, you could customize your ships. You could have pilots, characters from the movie or whatever. You could have different tracks. You could go to different planets. And you might even be able to have like a campaign mode where, you're working for Jabba the Hutt or some other gangster. Maybe they want you to throw a race. And just pretty cool stuff. I think you can come up with that kind of mix of like Formula D, but with a Star Wars theme.
Okay, so would it be heavily like dice driven, do you think, or would you maybe like use cards, or how are you thinking here?
I think it would be your ship would probably be a mix of both because you'd have cards based on what your ship could do, but obviously like a lot of the movement and stuff would have some dice involved.
Okay, yeah, I can see that working. However, the one idea I had about the pod racing game was just maybe when you win the game, you crash the pod race and the whole first movie never really happens. And then that could possibly work. Yeah, I could see where you're going with that.
That could be the end of the movie. The end of the game is actually you crash into Anakin Skywalker and stop that whole thing from happening.
Yeah, that he's like.
I like your idea.
Spends a while like practicing learning the Force, but obviously he's just learning it mentally because he's like currently paralyzed. And then at the end of the film, he kind of gets back up again, and they give him a lightsaber. And then maybe we'll start the second one, but maybe we could just skip to the third one, right? I don't know.
Hey, anything's better than what actually happens. So I won't shoot out any ideas. Another idea I had was a game about lightsaber fights. And I don't know, have you ever played Jab, the boxing game?
No, I've not.
It's basically like a real-time boxing where you're playing down your punches on the body, and you're both playing cards at the same time. You're playing punches, you're playing blocks. And I figured it'd be a combination of that and something like BattleCon, where you pick your Jedi, you pick your fighting styles, and you have there's different forms of lightsaber techniques, and you pick your styles. You customize your deck, and you would just have different fights. And I figured with this game you could have those dream fights everybody wanted to see. You could have like Darth Vader versus Yoda, or Luke Skywalker versus Darth Maul, and have see who would actually win those battles. Okay,
so maybe kind of like Yomi.
Yeah, it'd have some Yomi to it, some BattleCon, all those like card-driven fight games.
Okay, yeah, I could see that working. That sounds pretty interesting too. You're coming up with quite a few good ideas here, Kirk.
I know, I'm giving away for free. That's the thing.
Little do you know, there's a big C and a circle around it. Like that's what you guys use, right? As well, the copyright symbol.
And the last game I thought of was a game called Bounty Hunters. I always liked the Bounty Hunters in Star Wars, and I never really thought they explored that much. So I wanted to see a game like if you've ever played. Have you played the Firefly game from Gale Force 9?
I've not played it. It's just I've heard it's a bit. I've heard some people say it's really great, and then everyone else say it's not so great. I guess it's maybe the groups that I play with I do
Well, I
want to
think the
play it.
best part of that, because what people don't like, from what I understand, what I don't love about it, and what people seem to complain about, is there's a lot of like economics to it, a lot of business to it.
Yeah.
You're going through the space, picking up jobs, and it's really, I mean, it's all about supply and demand and profit and loss, and it gets a little boring. I would take all of that out, and instead of going out and getting like smuggling jobs or transportation jobs, whatever, go out and you're collecting bounties. You're playing Boba Fett, IG-88, Bosk, all those guys. You could bring in you could mix eras and have like Cad Bane and Jango Fett, and you're going and picking up bounties. And whoever hires you has enemies. So the Imperials may hire you to go collect a bounty on a rebel, and then you go out to fight the rebels. If the rebels send you after somebody Imperial, vice versa. So I just think it'd be like Firefly, but a lot more interaction, a lot more combat. You could steal bounties from each other, and I just think that'd be a lot of fun. I'd really like to see a game about Boba Fett and all those guys.
Okay, I did actually come up with one idea.
Okay.
Which I didn't tell you about because I was like, well, maybe surprise him with it since I've came up with it.
Let's hear it.
Now it would be on Endor, and I think I think you know what I'm about to say. But instead of being very much battle based, this would be more of like a sneaking game. So you need to get to the shield generator to turn it off, but you're not allowed to be seen. So you'd play like Han and Leia and things, and you'd get there. To get there, turn the shield generator off without being seen. That's your mission. That's kind of like a Spectre Ops style, I guess. But
that's a game I thought of as soon as you said it.
Yeah, so kind of like that, quite deduction based, but you're obviously hiding kind of around the forest.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun. I like that. Like, so everybody, do you imagine like Spectre Ops where everybody else is playing, the Imperials, the Stormtroopers, and one person's playing the Rebels?
Pretty much, yeah. Or I actually thought that maybe the players could play like so maybe kind of operate I didn't know how well it would work, but maybe operate like the other way around. But I'm not really sure how well that would work. Would maybe take a lot of different tweaking of the mechanics as well. So,
do I get to play an Ewok?
No.
Okay. Maybe the expansion.
Okay, yeah, you can get an Ewok expansion. That's cool.
All right, cool. All right, I'm on board.
Sorry, I just wanted to like crush your dreams there. You were like, "Can I play?" No, definitely not. That's not the plan.
No, that's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. I'm going to let you go here, Georgie. I appreciate you spending some time and talking with me. Was there anything else you wanted to share, or any other things coming across on Twitter?
There wasn't anything else coming across on Twitter. A couple other things. Let me just have a look. Double checking. Do apologize.
No,
just a couple of messages from Baker. I guess I'll read one out. He does find your lack of Ninja Turtle knowledge disturbing.
Sorry.
So
I'll go study up when the Ninja Turtle movie comes out. We'll do a Ninja Turtle episode. We'll have Baker on, and I'll prep for that one. So
yeah, let's do that. That sounds good. I'm really excited about that movie too, since I just watched the trailer and I'm watching like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, that actually I love that they're bringing in the characters from the cartoons.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks kind of cheesy, but I think it probably should. So I'm just hoping they have all that other space stuff. I'm really hoping we get to see Krang the Conqueror. If we see him coming, that's going to be awesome.
I'm a big Arrow fan, so like we're not going to spoil too much already, but I'm a big Arrow fan. So Stephen Amell, Casey Jones.
Oh yeah.
So and hopefully eventually like he can whack Megan Fox with that hockey stick, and we won't see April O'Neil for a while, because I don't remember April O'Neil ever getting away with dressing as like a schoolgirl. So
I know
that bugged me.
You weren't jumpsuit. That's it.
Yeah, but never mind. Anyway, let's not spoil too much about that one.
All right. Well, one last question. Let me ask Georgie. Going back, talking about the movie, talking about Force Awakens. Let's say you and I were to hook up on Monday. What do you think we're going to be saying about the movie?
I think we're going to be crying to watch it again. I think we're probably going to watch. Well, me personally, I think I might have seen it twice by then, and I'll probably be dying to go and see it another time. Really. I think we'll be really gripping at the edge, like sitting on the edge of our seat, fingernails digging into the seat in front of you, because I think the end's going to have a cliffhanger. I just have that feeling, and then it's going to be all set for the second one. So
yeah, I feel the same way. We said before, I'm going with very high hopes, and I think come this weekend, I'm going to do a video going in and a video coming out, and just talk about my thoughts on both. And I'm very much expecting to have some very great things to say about it. Be very excited about it. Like you said, I may be in the theater two more times this weekend before it's all said and done, because I don't know if I'll be able to stay away.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, Kurt.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, especially on short notice, to join me here today. And thanks to everybody who watched, who messaged on Twitter. And I apologize that the chat wasn't enabled. I will make sure that's fixed next time. And
I will do my best to talk you through on how to do that one as well.
Yeah, and again, and Georgie, thanks again. Georgie's basically, I'm a moron when it comes to this stuff, and Georgie had to hold my hand like a child to get this running. So total thanks to him on that, and I appreciate it. And next time we'll definitely run at full speed.
No worries at all, Kirk. Don't worry.
All right, thanks a lot, Georgie. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.